Hey, everybody, welcome to Rage and Love, where we passionately debate, explore, and review topics about religion, science, history, and current events. This is not just another holiday special, all right? Today we are myth busting and scripture fact checking. We're going to challenge everything you thought you knew about Christmas. And maybe, just maybe, by the end of the stream, atheists will have finally stolen Christmas. But I can't do this all on my own, so I am bringing my fellow atheist Grinch, who is always ready to stir some pots. The chadless, godless engineer.
Hi, how's it
How are
going?
you doing?
So just so that everybody knows, I'm doing pretty good. I'm drinking this. It's a local craft beer. S'more the merrier. It's
Ooh,
a stout brewed with graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows, and it's actually not too bad. I mean, normally I don't like the darker like stout beers, but this one's all right.
I like
Mhm.
that you said not
I
too
did.
bad. Oh yeah, did you take your insulin?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, right before I cracked it open, I took I think I took
Oh
enough. I
yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's sometimes I do that too. You just like they're like, "Well, you gotta count your carbs," and I'm like, I'll just eyeball it." Like, how much is this plate? It looks about 100. Let's put 100. Just yeah. You just, I mean, when you live
Yeah,
with it for long enough.
I've so I'm a bit insulin resistant. So like if I'm eating something that's a little bit carb heavy, I normally have to break it up. So like I'll take a little bit of insulin and to like so that I don't start doing. I don't know if you've gotten this yet, but start tunneling where the insulin will sort of leak out of the injection site because I've got a pod. Um, and it'll start leaking out, and that's if you take too much. And so I don't want to do that because then I'd have to like take it off, put on a new one, request a replacement, and all this. So I typically try to divvy it up. I'll break it up and I'll take enough to get me there. Yeah.
Pod buddies. Yeah, we got the same pod. uh, yeah, it can be messy. I mean, like, I also have a little bit of insulin resistance, but I realized that with making lots of changes that it was the fat. When I eat something that's fat heavy versus carb heavy, like if I eat carb heavy, sometimes it'll go like up and then right down. But if it's got a lot of fat
Mm.
content, then it will go up and it will stay up like consistently.
Hmm.
So I try, yeah,
Interesting. I never thought
yeah.
about the fat content playing a role, so I'll have to try to pay attention to that.
Yeah, for sure. I tried it with potatoes because I love potatoes. And I was like, okay, if I eat French fries and then my sugar will go up and stay up. And then I would try it the next day with potatoes, but in the air fryer, but no oil at all. And it went up a little bit and came right down
Mhm.
and stayed really good. I was like, okay. So then I started doing that. Yeah. And I noticed every time it seems to happen. Uh, but anyways, enough about science,
Okay.
guys. We're not here to learn today. Okay, we are here to learn. But first, you're a very familiar face to everybody watching, probably, and I will be surprised if anyone watching doesn't know who you are. But just in case, you're gonna have to tell us what do you do, what shows do you have coming up. I don't mind sharing any channel that you're gonna be on. I love all of them. I watch all the shows, so share with.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm always pretty busy guy. On my personal channel, Godless Engineer here on YouTube, I usually have posts going up 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And they're typically either conversation type videos where like it's either a clip from me on the line or something like that. Or if I have a particularly good clip from TikTok or something, I might put that up or it's like a response video of some kind. And I started doing a response video to the opening of a my opponent in a Christian nationalist debate that I had recently. And so I've got the second video that's scripted up basically. I think I'm missing one section. That's the only thing I'm missing, but I've got to get that like recorded and edited. It's going to take a long time to get that one like recorded and edited. But I post there 3 times. I'm starting up back on my second channel. I'm gonna try to start posting clips from my TikTok stuff over there. So it's Godless Engineer Shorts is the channel. It was originally meant for like just short clipped versions of like my longer videos, but but I think I'm going to turn it into like doing this the same kind of stuff that I do on my main channel, but it's going to be primarily me and TikTok conversations that I have, or any of the solo stuff that I do as far as conversations go. So I'm posting up over there. I've got the first video of that scheduled for later on tonight. And yeah, after our show tonight, I'll probably share that out on my community tab or whatever. But other than that, I usually post multiple times a day over on Facebook. I try to keep up with like politics, political news, and stuff like that. Trying to keep people informed. Try to do fact checks, and also try to post memes that communicate good messages about the current socio-political environment, as well as atheist content. So if you're interested in that, just and you're on Facebook, look me up on Facebook. Yeah, other than that, I've got one call-in show coming up on Monday where I'm bringing on Dalton, the Bible guy. We're going to be taking calls on the line over there. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me. I do a lot of shit. I'm sorry. I'm a really busy guy. I keep busy. I blame ADHD.
For sure, we could always blame everything on ADHD, right? It's all ADHD fault. I do too. Trust me. Like, getting my notes ready and some links ready for tonight. We had planned this for weeks, but I did it all today because ADHD, right? I work best under pressure.
Well, see, luckily, I didn't have to wait till last minute to get everything together because I already had notes on this. Like, because, that's one thing about being a content creator, especially on Facebook. With the kind of crowd that I draw on there, I have to make sure that like my position is pretty much bulletproof, because they're going to definitely try to poke holes in it. And so like this is and I've been doing this for a long time, the Christmas pagan thing, and so like I had a lot of it already in notes, but I had already started looking up to prepare for like the Christmas meme season, I guess.
And that is exactly why I chose you for that. Because I was like, okay, he's got experience. He talks, like I've heard you before talk about Christmas stuff. And I was like, you're very knowledgeable specifically about this. So yeah, it was a perfect pick for this topic. You also have another project, Rocket City Reason. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
I'm going to pull up the website real quick first. What made you want to start that while I pull up the thing?
Well, so Casey and I, my wife Casey, we had been throwing around the idea for a while now, like for a couple of years, this idea of putting on our own conference, because, back in, what was it, 2018? We collaborated with a number of other creators in the community to put on Faithless Forum. And we were a pretty big driving force behind that, to get everybody together, and then formulate the ideas for all the panels and everything like that. And we really enjoyed that experience of putting on a creator run and creator focused conference sort of thing, where we all just kind of got together, everybody that wanted to meet their favorite creator in the Dallas Fort Worth area was able to meet. And it was an awesome experience, and we really wanted to recreate that. We just needed to find the right time to do it. Of course, there was COVID that hit, and so like that, put a damper on things. And then we were very focused on getting set up in our house that we eventually bought and everything. So there's just been a lot of things that have prevented us from starting it sooner, but we had always intended on starting a creator focused and online focused sort of conference. And our hope here is to bring the online creator and activist sort of space into like the meat space. And we're hoping to really accomplish this by merging those two worlds with not only our keynote speakers, which would be Seth, Forrest, and Erica, who are kind of sandwiching the day, but also with a mixture, a pretty healthy mixture of the online creators with general creators. And I have to say, I'm very embarrassed right now.
Just John right there.
That that I have not fixed that yet. I've meant to fix it. KC, yes, honey, KC.
I know. John looked very pretty right there, I have to say.
Yeah, I know. I agree. But yeah, so like we've got, as you can see on the screen there, we've got Chris Mallard, who's going to be an MC. And people should know him from the Daily Atheist, or the Daily Atheist Morning Show. Then we get Sydney Davis Jr.
Love her.
She's great.
My twin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's fantastic. I've done things with her, like as far as like online content and activism type stuff with her, and she's great. And they both agreed to be the MCs for the event, and we're excited to have them. And so our keynote presenters, as you can see, Seth Andrews, he's going to be delivering the opening, which normally people put Seth at the very end so that everybody stays to the end. But we were like, no, we want Seth to be our opener, because we're going to have Forrest Valkai and Erica both on the stage at the same time, having a good conversation, and they'll be taking questions as well. So everybody knows that those two can go for 8 or 10 hours or something like that. And then we get the content. Yeah. And then we got the content creation panel. It's going to be led by the Skeptic, John there. And then of course I'm on it, not to pat myself on the back or anything. Kevin Crow, people might not know him, but he's a Jesus unfollower on all the social medias. Yeah, we got Black Atheist Rants. He's great. He's over there on TikTok. He's doing a lot of great conversations and everything like that, advancing that over there. And then we got a Talking to Theist panel that's going to be led by Arden, who's awesome. The Thinker, she's going to be over there helping us do.
She's recently started. I've seen her on the ACA, then I saw her on the line, and I was like, wow, like she's really, really. I love her. I really enjoyed her content.
Yeah, she does great conversations over there. Sadie Carpenter from the Leaving Eden podcast, like she's great too. Jasper Hoffman, we've gotten to know Jasper, and she's fantastic. She does a lot of work in the Anabaptist community, both Amish and Mennonite, helping to support the people in that community that are suffering from various kinds of abuse. And she's working with like the FBI in order to help garner people to come forward, and I guess provide witness statements and everything like that. Yeah, giving them a safe space to talk about that kind of stuff, helping them get out of those situations. So Jasper's great. She's great. Yeah. We were recently at a meeting in Ohio where they were giving where they were giving instructions to the Amish and Mennonite community, and it was really heartbreaking to see how many people were there, and how and the fact that most, if not all, of the women there were victims, and most, if not all, of the men there were abusers. Like it was heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, I got to share the stage with her and Chad Harris, led by Sydney Davis at NanoCon, and we had that panel, and I got to hear her story, and it was just heartbreaking. But I'm really glad that her experience led her to this place where she can put that into action and do something for other women who were, who are still in the same place where she once was, and before she was able to come out. So I think what she's doing is amazing, and I'm glad you're able to have her on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's more panels. All right, activism and
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we really wanted to do with this is that we didn't like the idea of having just a few people like give single presentations where they were just sort of talking at the crowd. We really wanted these panels so that it was more of a combined effort to provide as much information as we could and through a diverse lens. And so that's why we came up with these panels so that we could jam pack it with plenty of online creators as well as diversifying our panelists and promote discussion
Yeah,
amongst everybody. So
yeah, because it's a really important, conversations to have. Uh, yeah. Oh,
yeah, so we got
Melissa,
Phil
Lord
Ferguson.
Melissa.
Yeah, Phil Ferguson's leading the building community panel. We got Mandisa Thomas, who is part of the meat space, like real sort of on the ground, sort of in the community type of activism, classical, I guess, activism. And then you got Chad Harris, who's more in the online space. You might know him from season 1 of Shiny Happy People. He is, from the IBLP community. He left that community after, so many years, and he deconstructed from that. And he's an awesome guy. We just recently had him at our house, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, I know he's great. I'm a little bit jealous that you got to hang out with him, but yeah, yeah, Nano Gun we hung out a lot, and he's freaking awesome. Yeah. Oh, Godless
Godless Granny.
Granny.
Yeah,
Yeah, we,
we live like 5 minutes from her, and she is just awesome. And she definitely knows how to build an online community, or just communities in general. She deconstructed from religion late in her life, and then she just immediately hit the ground running. She asked me for some advice on how to get started and everything, and I pretty much just gave her the starting position, and she just fucking took off with it. And she's doing great things over there on her channel. She's building a great community, and she's just awesome in general.
love that. Yeah, I've been on her show, so yeah, very fun. And okay, the
Yeah.
dates. Let's look at this schedule. Okay, October
Yeah,
23rd,
so
25th. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and I do mean to pat myself on the back here, but I built this website in about 3 days. So
Wow.
like it's yeah, I really hit the ground hard, and luckily I built it during the furlough, and so like I had a whole bunch of
Time.
time to dedicate to it. So this was one of those rare times where I was like, all right, ADHD hyperfixation, engage. And I was able to engage that and get it done quick.
That's good, yeah, because I've built websites
But yeah,
before, and it's a lot of work, especially with the graphics and everything, which I love the graphics, by the way.
but yeah, so it's October 23rd, 25th, 2026. So the schedule, we have it is 3 days, but the conference is technically only on the Saturday. The Friday we have a community event that is yeah, there you go. It's a
Gotcha.
social event. So we of course got registration and everything. Sorry, this I apparently did not think about a screen this size, but so we got
Uh,
registration, of
it's just
course.
mine.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna have an Alabama barbecue dinner. that night. So that you've got as far as tickets go, like we've had to ticket them separately. So like the dinner and everything like that is going to be its own ticket. But there's an Alabama barbecue dinner that's just it's going to be fantastic. And then we've got a drag show that we're going to be doing after that. These are all local drag queens that are going to be coming through. They do a drag show at actually what the place that brews my drink tonight, Straight to Ale, is where they normally star at. And so we actually recently went to the Christmas show, and that was really
Okay.
fun. That was a lot. Although the
I saw
mistake I
some
made,
photos.
because yeah. The mistake I made was apparently sitting in the aisle instead of like in the actual seat, as far as like the recessed seating or whatnot. And that put a lot of emphasis on me. Of course, I was like, I'm not gonna wear my Santa hat because I don't want to draw attention to myself. And of course, I sit in the aisleway, and it apparently that was like fair game.
The target. Yeah, you became the target. Yeah, I did see some photos of some very fun interactions with the queens.
Yeah.
So yeah, people should expect
Uh,
that kind of treatment, right? The,
yeah,
given the
yeah.
fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the rest of the night after the drag show is going to be open to everybody, but it'll just be a social and game night where we can all just sort of hang out, play games. If anybody has games that they want to bring and play or whatnot, we're going to encourage that. It's really just supposed to be sort of a community building event.
Yeah. Reminder for people: make ethical decisions, make good decisions, please.
Yeah.
Figure out your
Yeah.
safe words before you start drinking.
Yes, figure out safe words before you start drinking. That's right, honey. Yeah,
Facts.
Saturday is going to be the conference, so it's all those panels that we just talked about, and then on
Yeah.
Sunday we're going to be touring the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. If y'all don't know, we're known as the Rocket City for a reason, and that's because we were pretty much the center of development for the space program, at least the rockets for the space program. They did the testing here and everything, and for the boosters, yeah. And so we're known as Rocket City because we got so much rocket engineering that's going on here, or that did go on here. And so the Space and Rocket Center is fantastic. We've been there several times. They've got like an IMAX theater there. They've got like all of this history behind the space program and everything. And it's a really awesome time. And I hope everybody will come. The website is rocketcityreason.com. You can check out the tickets there, check out the event and everything like that, everything that we're going to be holding. So definitely check that out.
Okay, cool. I put
I
the
appreciate
banner.
you I really appreciate you letting me get that out there, because I'm going to start hitting the ground running with a bunch of promotional stuff, doing interviews and a lot of like specific things where we get the word out about it. I've heard some pretty positive things from a number of people in the community about, the excitement around this conference. We've been told that so far we're probably the youngest and the most diverse conference that is currently in the I guess the atheist circuit of conferences for 2026.
Yeah, yeah, it does sound like it. I mean, it looks like it's very well planned. I can tell you guys put very deep thought into like so many different aspects of it, like the community part, making sure that it's diverse, making sure that voices are represented. So that's a really good, refreshing thing to see. You know.
Yeah, I have to throw all credit to KC, who was amazing and really was focused on getting a very diverse group, as well as planning out the panels, like what do people really want to hear and what do people need to hear. And so she's been the genius behind scheduling. Huh?
And who would be good to talk about?
Yes, and who would be good to talk about it. So she's the genius
Yeah.
behind all of that.
Right, because you want to have people who have that experience, or who are in, I don't know, like like Arden, for example, right? She's had these conversations for so many years, so she knows exactly how to
Mhm.
have these specific conversations with theists. So she's a great person to go to as a producer and someone that that is behind the screen and on the screen, and also on many conferences where she speaks about things like that. So you want to make sure that you have the right person to do that. And I will say, and I think the whole community is gonna agree with me that Casey is a fucking badass, and we all really appreciate her. So like she's
Yeah.
someone that is really valued in the community. Like you don't see her face out there, but she's behind the scenes doing all the things and making all the effort. And I'm not saying that you're not, okay, just like making a lot of effort and doing a lot of things. Um, and I think you both make such a great team because like you're in the front, putting your face out there, taking all the anger from the haters, and she's back there making things smooth, peaceful. I really,
Oh,
she's someone I really look up
you,
to as far as how to engage with people.
oh yeah, I definitely look up to her too. But you don't get to see the fiery side of KC whenever I get the mean comments. Like today, I got a comment telling me to jump off of a building, and she was
I
like,
saw that
"No,
one.
what?" Yeah,
Like that's there. What makes
she
people
got
say such a thing, right? Over just a little dumb meme or something that they see, and then just suddenly
yeah.
like, well, you've got to get off the face of the earth because you hate my imaginary friend.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And it's not even that I hate their imaginary friend. It's just that,
Yeah.
like I'm not convinced of their imaginary friend, and I don't hold their imaginary friend to such a high regard as they do. And so, well, it's either that or they're MAGA people, and that just
Mm.
naturally pisses them off to like be confronted
Oh
with
yeah.
facts. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
true. That's very true. All right. Speaking of this topic, we're definitely listeners. We can't you know oppose that. We've been told we're sinners, and because all heathens are sinners, and so it wouldn't be
yeah.
right of us not to put that into action to prove them right. Like so, we have to keep up our appearances. All right. So this show is supposed to be about stealing Christmas. So we're gonna practice that sin, that specific sin of stealing, and a little bit of blasphemy. I'm sure will be coming in there. Um, so we are gonna try to steal Christmas from the Christians, and we know that a lot of the Christmas traditions are stolen by Christians, and they can get really upset when we point that out, claiming that we are the
Mhm.
ones doing the thing. How dare we? We are neither Christians nor pagans, so like, what's up with that? So my question is: are there any traditions from you were raised as a Christian, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So, are there any traditions, Christian traditions, or Catholic, or wherever you are brought up on, that you kept after you deconstructed from religion that you're now accused of doing, even though you're a heathen, you know, a thief?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people out there they want to associate every aspect of Christmas with Christianity, and for me, the only aspect of Christmas that's really Christian based is like the nativity scene and like the entire Jesus birth narrative. And after I deconstructed from religion, like I didn't continue any of that. I mean,
Yeah,
like. We may have like we may know some people that and we're fine with people having nativity scenes up or whatnot just because they're like um family displays or something like that. But I guess as far as like pure Christian things that are not borrowed from other pagan celebrations or pagan traditions, we don't really partake really in any of that. Like for a long time for me, Christmas hasn't really meant much as in the way of Jesus goes. um
yeah,
Being from the South, you would think that Jesus is the reason for the season, but for me, capitalism was always the reason for the season, it seems.
capitalism, money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
So like
new ones? Oh, sorry. No, I was saying, what
new
about new traditions? Like, did you make any?
Yeah, so I mean, like here at the house, we decorate the tree. We decorate the house with like evergreen stuff, not literal trees or anything. They're all like they're very fancy, not necessarily plastic, but I guess synthetic would be a better descriptor. Artificial, yeah,
Mm.
artificial trees and everything like that. And we definitely put out different decorations and everything like that, but I don't see that as being like a Christian thing. There's nothing really Christian about it. I mean, there's that one Jeremiah verse that actually prevents is supposed to prevent Christians or Jewish people from taking in trees, decorating them, and idolizing them, and everything like that. And so I feel like that a lot of the things that we do to celebrate now have really no connection to Christianity, other than them being co-opted in to the faith so that they could convince pagans to join the religious ranks of Christianity.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of different interpretations of where the Christmas trees come from. You know, like some say it's a pagan tradition. Christians claim that it was meant to represent the tree of life, and the balls are supposed to be apples. Well, that they used to be decorated as apples. And so I found this really interesting video that we're gonna watch. It's like 2 minutes, but we'll stop and discuss the parts of it that are relevant. Let me see. Got the correct one. Volume up. Okay.
Passion for truth.
By virtually
Oh wait, just checking. You hear that right? The sound was coming through.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay.
every pagan culture in the world, and was again a major symbol of sun god worship and fertility. It took the place inside the pagan home of the
So this video was made by Essex Ministries on the back. So I'm guessing they're like a Christian. I was surprised that they were admitting that it wasn't a Christian thing.
Yeah.
the obelisk. The fir tree took the place of that obelisk as a picture or a symbol of the sun god. That's why they put the sunburst or the 8-pointed star on top of it. The fir tree was said to be a magical tree because it remained green all year long. It was decorated in some cultures with fruit to symbolize new life, and in other cultures it was decorated with 12 candles to honor their sun god, because the Feast of Saturnalia was 12 days. That's where you get the 12 days of Christmas from. Today we eat.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting about the 12 days of Christmas. I didn't know the origins of it. Had you heard about that
Well,
before?
I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know if it directly comes from that, because the number 12 is very magical, just in general. It's one of those numbers that you find, like, not only in the Bible but also in other cultures, to be very significant, like celestially significant. You get like the 12 zodiac signs, and there's 12 there's groups of 12 all over religious symbolism. And so I don't know if it directly comes from that, but it's definitely a trend that was going around, grouping things by 12.
Gotcha.
I know where it came from.
Oh, you know where it came from.
Yes, it's actually a
Oh,
Catholic
does she?
thing. Do you want me
It's a
to-
Catholic thing.
Yeah, it's a Catholic
Oh.
thing, and it actually starts with Christmas and runs through January 5th. The 12 days of Christmas are after Christmas, leading up to the Epiphany.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I mean, that would
okay.
make sense.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think though that yeah. So I mean, I think that that's the syncretism, which I don't know if a lot of people know what syncretism is. Syncretism is when you take the elements of one culture and the elements of another culture, and you merge them together to create something new. And I think that the syncretism there is using the number 12 and its celestial importance, and the perceived magical importance of the number 12, and then applying it to the Christian tradition, I think, is what probably happened there.
Well, and the Epiphany is when the wise men showed up to the manger.
Yep. Are you sure about that? Because my understanding of the Epiphany was that it was when Jesus got dunked in the Jordan.
Interesting.
Marking the manifestation of Jesus Christ, primarily symbolized by the visit of the Magi. You're right. It includes. She's like, I know, John. God damn. But I am also correct.
So you're both right.
Yes. Yes, we're both right. So the baptism in Eastern Christianity, it also celebrates Jesus' baptism when he's declared the Son of God. And the reason why I remember that as opposed to the Magi visit story is because originally in Christianity, Jesus' birth was not celebrated like whatsoever. It wasn't until much later, like a couple hundred years after the supposed birth of Jesus, that his birth became important. What was celebrated before that was the baptism of Jesus, the Epiphany in this particular respect, as far as like before, the Catholics, I guess, co-opted it. But the Epiphany being January 6th, that's when, Jesus was adopted as the Son of God. That's when they saw it as Jesus became the Son of God. And so that's what they celebrated was the Epiphany in that respect. But very obviously, the Catholics or organized Christianity then co-opted that even further to make it the Magi's visit. So, yeah, interesting. I learned something. Thank you, honey.
Yeah, thank you.
But I do want to point out
we are here to learn.
Both right.
Gotta make sure to sneak that in there, right? Make sure you are a little bit right. Okay, all right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Even sing songs to it, just like they did in the pagan worship rituals. Jeremiah 10, verses 2 and following says, "Thus says the Lord," or Yahweh, "do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the Gentiles are dismayed at them, for the customs of the people are futile. For one cuts a tree down from the forest, the work of the hands of a workman with the axe."
Okay, so is this what you were referring to earlier when you mentioned Jeremiah? Okay, so it does sort of prevent them from cutting trees.
Well, so I mean, the more hardcore Christians, they're very against idols and worshiping things as idols. They definitely feel like they should be worshiping Jesus and God and all that. And I could totally see it. So there are some sects today that won't celebrate things like that, like Jehovah's Witnesses. They don't celebrate birthdays or anything because they feel like that's creating an idol. So like they have to be very careful about creating idols. Of course, most Christian denominations today are not going to see it as being an idol, but I'm just saying that like that's why the Christian celebration of Christmas, at least the way that we celebrate it now, is actually a relatively modern invention.
Yeah, and it doesn't follow with biblical sort of rules or laws. So.
Right.
They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. They are upright like a palm tree, and they cannot speak. They must be carried because they cannot go by themselves. Do not be afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor can they do any good. Now,
okay, I guess that's the part where it references that they're not necessarily considered idols. So don't be afraid of them, but they're still not allowed in a way. I suppose it's not an idol, but it represents some type of worship.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that they don't like. Like it's not that the trees or any of that kind of celebratory stuff actually does anything in their eyes. It's more of the offense that you cause to God when you worship something else other than him. And when you read this passage, that's what you really have to keep in mind, is that God, as the Bible says, God is a jealous God. And so he does not like it when you worship something else or you pay particular attention to something else. And so that is Yeah, that's the main focus of this section right here is like, don't do this because this is creating an idol. It's basically creating another golden calf. And so that's the main focus there is not doing the idol worship, which that's why, modern Christians, they come up with excuses as to why they're not idolizing the tree or anything like that. But celebrating with the tree actually didn't start until like, the 1840s. With Christians. And in fact, in Puritan led English Parliament, back in the colonial days of America, actually banned Christmas celebration in 1647, and they replaced it with a day of fasting and considered it a quote popish festival with no biblical justification, is how they describe Christmas. So it's definitely a modern invention for Christians to even celebrate Christmas.
And what made it come back after it was banned?
Well, I think what made it come back after a span was the popularization. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that word. The popularization of it in the United Kingdom, in like the 1840s or so. You had Christians that were not so, I guess, strict about idolization or anything. Capitalism.
Yes.
But yes, so in the UK, you had prominent figures that were bringing in Christmas trees, and they were, decorating them and everything like that. And so that kind of popularized it. It's that societal pressure that Mark was talking about there, of celebrating these things, and then it eventually carried over to the States, where we then came up with kind of our own ways of celebrating Christmas that just continue to evolve the Christmas traditions. But it's a relatively new, like 19th century sort of thing for Christians to celebrate Christmas. So when you have a Christian that's like Jesus or Christ is the reason for the season, or Jesus is the reason for the season, it's like that's only been relatively recently. For more than 1,000 years prior to that, he wasn't shit at this time.
And to be fair, if you ask like most kids or younger people, hey, what is Christmas? They're just like, well, I don't know. They don't even know it's the birth of Jesus. But I think, Mark and Eli both make a really good point. And Mark said that he blames Coca-Cola. And that reminded me of those little 1940s commercials, like image advertisements where you see Santa Claus drinking a whiskey and smoking a cigarette. That's what it reminded me of.
I just want to let everybody know that at one point, St. Nicholas actually punched a motherfucker. So, if you find yourself getting angry and wanting to punch a motherfucker at this time, Santa would do
tell me
the
about
same
that.
thing.
What? I didn't know heard about that. What happened?
You don't know about that? Sorry,
the tea.
my son
Spill the
messaged me real quick.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I had not heard about that. No, I'm going to have to hear all of this tea right now.
Yeah, so it was at one of the councils, and it was the Saint Nick that Santa Claus is modeled off over, and he of course the legend grew out of this person and him supposedly punching or slapping a fellow Christian, like noble or something like that, at one of these councils is kind of legendary. But as the legend goes, somebody said something that he considered offensive. I think it might have been something about whether or not Jesus was divine or something like that. And so Saint Nick just, he went by Nick at Nicholas at that time. Nicholas got pissed off at him, bitch slapped him a little bit. And that's pretty much the case there. I mean, it pretty much somebody offended religious sensibilities, and he took it out with he solved the problem with anger, which is obviously not the best way to do it, but that's what he tried to do.
Yeah, I guess he was trying to take inspiration from when Jesus flipped the tables. Maybe.
Yeah.
Mark says is getting bad Santa vibes. That's a good movie.
Oh,
That's
man.
a good movie.
I could just imagine Santa over there at his desk or whatnot during the council eating a salad. Somebody saying some stupid shit, and he's like, "I'm on my fucking break."
What do you want, bitch? All right, let's keep watching this video.
Now, Many people believe that this particular scripture is talking about Christmas trees themselves. The truth of the matter is this particular scripture is not really connected to Christmas trees, as it is the idea that they took and they went to the woods, they got fir trees, and then they would carve them and they would decorate them with silver and gold. And what I wanted to point out with the scripture is that the whole decorating with silver and gold balls, which
Okay, I have to cut it down right there because it's like balls. I just laughed so hard at that part.
Yeah.
actually, believe it or not, are represented in ancient cultures as the testicles of the sun god that went on the
What? Okay.
shaft of Baal with the symbol of the pagan fertility.
So the balls and shaft of Baal. What is going on here? I'm like, okay, listen, there's a lot of biblical interpretations, right? But I've never heard about this one. What do we make of it?
I don't know, but like, I feel like this is the result of the proclivity of the biblical passages being laced with sexual innuendo all over. And so it trains them to like see balls and testicles everywhere.
But I mean, it tracks. It tracks
Yeah.
because
I told him this. This is not
oh, what is Casey saying?
Oh, she was like, "This is AI information. He got this from AI overview."
Oh, okay. We have a biblical scholar in the chat, and Dr. Kip says, no, the word is not decorated, and these are not balls. This is nonsense. Yeah, I that's what I thought. That's why I was gonna show it because I was like, this is so silly. Like, what is he talking about?
Well,
And this is the thing about Christianity, like they have so many interpretations. Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, I would. I mean, I would definitely not try to make any kind of like symbolic connection between the balls and shaft and everything.
Kip says it's
Wooden
describing
pole, yeah.
overlay and carved wooden poles and engraving. Yeah, carved wooden
Yeah.
poles.
So yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, is that it's more about the idolization of something as opposed
Right.
to actually like decorating a tree or doing any of that kind of celebratory stuff. So it's more about idolization, which God doesn't like. And so very obviously he's not going to want you to idolize some other kind of God. And that's what this was meant to do at the time.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if he says anything else interesting. Let's see. I thought that part was hilarious and like it was worth talking about how much mental gymnastics they often have to do in order to prove Christmas or prove Christianity and prove the Bible and prove the God.
Right, of the sunburst on top of it. That's where they got the silver and gold from. It was the idea that they decorated their idols with silver and gold. So that's what I wanted to pull from this scripture, not necessarily that they're cutting down a Christmas tree. That tradition didn't happen until later, but this is where they got the idea from, because idols were decorated with silver and gold.
Okay.
Well, so I do have to disagree with him there a little bit, just because like decorating with evergreens and everything like that at in the winter solstice sort of time frame is a long held like pagan tradition, and the Christians co-opted this decorating with evergreens and everything like that. They co-opted it into their religious practices in order to make it easier for pagans to join the Christian cults in the early days. And so like that's why it got integrated. Now the modern Christmas tree decoration and the modern Christmas traditions that we see, those didn't come around until the 19th century. And so and even before that, as we stated, like the Puritans were one such group that didn't like celebrating Jesus's birth. And so it's a very modern celebration, decorating Christmas trees and all this other stuff like that. That's a very modern invention. It would not have been something that the original Christians did definitely. But even after that point, when they started co-opting a lot of the pagan traditions into Christianity to sort of overshadow or to take over some of the pagan celebrations, decorating the trees in your home and everything like that did not come around then. It was much later. And I don't know if Kip knows much about this, but uh, uh, I would think that that's pretty in line with what the history shows on it.
Yeah. And speaking of history, like, why did I know we covered a little bit about, like, the how did Christianity come to start celebrating Christmas, but why did they choose December 25th?
That's very interesting. There's a couple of different competing hypotheses about this, as far as like how did they come up with the date. And I'm getting I'm getting back to my notes section on this, because there's a very specific Jewish practice apparently that is, let's see, hold on, let me get back.
Yeah, I've heard like there's
Okay,
different, interpretations and versions, and so yeah, it's not like cut and dry. Here's why. But so yeah,
yeah, so there's two currently, I guess, competing theories, with one of them being more favored by scholarship than others. So there's the pagan substitution theory, right, that suggests that early Christians deliberately chose December 25th to align with or supplement existing pagan celebrations, making conversion more palatable to the Romans. But this theory faces a critical problem that there were no Christian or pagan authors suggesting this connection until the 12th century.
mm,
So the first documented claim that Christmas was shifted to December 25th because of Sol Invictus comes from a marginal note in the 12th century manuscript of Dionysius bar Salibi's writings. So and this is what gets to the current consensus is the calculation hypothesis, and I'm rather convinced by this one. It proposes that the early Christians calculated the December 25th date based on the Jewish concept of an integral age. And that's the belief that prophets often died on the same date that they were conceived. So it's like some kind of celestially important kind
mm,
of construction. So the early church fathers believed that Jesus was conceived on March 25th, near the spring equinox, and aligned with Passover traditions. That would place his birth 9 months later on December 25th. Now, obviously, we know that the 9 months is a general idea of the gestational period of
of
humans. It
course.
can range later, it can be earlier, whatnot. So, they basically calculated it based on averages and everything like that, that December 25th is 9 months after March 25th. And that's the specious dating of like when Jesus would have been conceived, according to like the Gospels. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt there, but the calculation hypothesis is the most likely, while the pagan substitution theory comes in last. And there's a very specific reason why the pagan substitutionary theory actually comes in last, and that's because the earliest mention of December 25th being the date for Jesus's birth actually comes before Sol Invictus was like an institutionalized celebration.
Yeah, and that does make a lot of sense. To use like an average of 9 months. If they don't know the exact birth date, if you do know the conception date, it tracks. So I mean, it's fair. It's pretty
Yeah.
convincing.
Yeah, and Kip Davis in the comments there saying that it's also meant to correspond with the day of Jesus' death on the 25th of March.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that integral age is. And the whole idea of them being conceived and dying on the same day. I mean, it sounds very magical and like to emphasize the power of God and all this other stuff, which is a pretty common thing throughout the Old Testament as well as in the New Testament, emphasizing this power of God.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so in the story, right, like the stories of the Jesus's birth, uh, Mark and John don't really have a story in the Gospels, but Matthew and Luke are the ones that do have a story. And what is like the main difference? Because I've heard that they have different accounts between them.
Oh yeah, I mean the main difference. If I had to choose a main
Or
difference,
any you wanna
uh,
go into. Go in as many as you want.
right. So I mean, they're definitely two completely different stories. They take place at two completely different times, and the circumstances surrounding them are completely different. I would, if I had to peg one big difference, is that they're 10 years apart. So the Matthew story
Wow.
supposedly takes place between 4 and 6 BCE. And then the Luke story most likely takes place in 680. Yeah, 680. And so the reason for that is that the census that's recorded in Luke occurs in 680. So like the only way to make sense of them having to travel to Jerusalem at that point, or well, Bethlehem, um, in order to take part in the census is because of the fact that it took place in 6 CE, as well as when Quirinius was the governor of Syria at that time. And
Right.
so, yeah, so they're 10 years apart and everything like that. You've got the slaughter of the innocents in Matthew, that's where Herod orders that all of the firstborn children of the Israelites are to be killed. And that only occurs in the Gospels. That's not recorded anywhere else. That's most likely not true whatsoever. But in the Gospel of Matthew, that's the reason why they have to flee to Egypt. And all of this is to sort of mirror what happens to Moses. And the point, one of the points of the Gospel of Matthew is to present Jesus as a new Moses, right? And so, in order to accomplish that, they've got to build circumstances into the story that are similar to the Moses story. If you don't recall, as far as the the Old Testament stories, like around Moses and everything, is that for Moses, all the firstborn children of the Israelites were killed at that point, but Moses was saved. He was specially saved, and he fled his home, being in the basket and everything like that, and reaching the Egyptian emperor's I guess queen or whatnot, and being raised as Egyptian. And you see the exact same thing happening with Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew. And so that's what happens in Matthew. In Luke, it's the census takes place, and they have to travel to Bethlehem because that's the ancestral home that Joseph is part of, King David's home. And so they have to travel there. They give birth and everything like that. There's also the fact that the Magi are only in one story while the shepherds are in another story. So there's just a lot of differences in between the two.
Yeah, yeah, it does seem to be that way. And I mean, like the King Herod's part, the massacre of the innocents is like really tied down as a key part of the nativity story. But from what I understand, most scholars consider that to be a theological addition rather than something that we can prove, historically. So
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Gospels, and maybe this is just my very mythicist side of me, is that you can't actually establish much of the Gospels as being historical. I would venture as far as to say that next to nothing can be established as historical in the Gospels, because just about every aspect of Jesus's story in those particular stories are theologically necessary. Like the entire birth of Jesus being magical, being of a virgin, everything like that. They viewed that, at least, as being theologically necessary. And I've gotten my notes here about the virgin birth, right? Like that's seen as like a prophecy or whatnot that was in the Old Testament, but that's not actually one of the messianic prophecies of the Old Testament. It's actually based on a mistranslation that appears in the Septuagint version of the Old Testament scriptures. The Septuagint version renders a certain word, I believe it's Alma, as virgin, when originally in the Hebrew it means young woman, basically. And so they translate it as being a virgin, and they also have to uh, 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 change the interpretation of that passage. Like they have to take the original intent, chuck it, like throw it away, create a new interpretation of it that is meant to foreshadow the Messiah. And so the original intent of that was that it was talking about a woman that had already given birth and everything like that, and technically it was already Israel is I believe what it was supposed to be. So like they basically threw out the original intent of the passage, they created a new intent that was supposed to be applied to the Messiah, and then they created the story around that mistranslation and that misunderstanding. So
What a mess.
the whole, yeah, I know it can get rather complicated. This process of creating these new interpretations of Old Testament scripture is called pesherim, with the pesherim, you basically are looking to illuminate information about the Messiah that was previously hidden by God in the Old Testament. And so it necessitates that you've got to throw out this original intent of the passage and create this new intent for it that is more like from what they feel is the perspective of God. And so the perspective of God is that Mary's supposed to be a virgin. And the fact that Mary has like or that Mary's a character in general is kind of interesting, just because in Mark, the original gospel, as well as the Gospel of John, Jesus's birth just doesn't play any kind of significant role. It's not special or anything like that. So it's really only when a genealogical need for the Messiah to be connected to King David is necessary for certain sects of Christians, do you have the birth narrative being important. And even then, the birth of Jesus wasn't celebrated like by the early Christians. It wasn't celebrated, or it wasn't even considered until like a couple hundred years after that.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because they had to find a way to connect to connect Jesus to David, and so they do that through Mary. But just like let's say Genesis or Noah's Ark, both of these you see very, very similar stories. Some pretty damn close stories as other like mythological stories, right? So the miraculous birds. I was looking into this, and I was like, are there others that sound similar to this story? And then you see more virgin births, or some of them were not necessarily virgin, but rather women who maybe had already given birth, but did not have a sexual relationship to get pregnant. And some of the examples were the Greek Perissus, who was fathered by Zeus in the form of golden shower. So, ladies, watch out for those golden showers. And then I don't know if you've heard about that one before. That was the first time I
Yeah.
heard about it.
No, yeah. So the gold, which when we say golden shower, we mean literal gold, not like
Oh, not the other type. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But in that particular story, yes, a gold droplet falls onto a young maiden and impregnates her by that way. And there's a lot of different sexless conceptions that happen in the Greco-Roman world at that time. So, I mean, it was definitely something that was seen as like, if you have this prophet, or you have this magical demigod sort of figure, then the whole sexless conception thing becomes important.
Yeah. Another one I saw was the Buddha, which is not like any super religious story. And in the case of Buddha, he was not born of a virgin specifically. His mom had already had sex, but his conception involved his mother, Queen Devi, or I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, having this sort of prophetic dream. And there was a white elephant that enters her side, and then she gives birth through the same spot where this elephant entered her on the side. So it's like, okay, there are so many different virgin birth or non-sexual impregnations of women in all of these stories. What makes Christians think that their story is unique, special, or different?
It's really not, as far as that goes, other than the fact that it's Jewish, and that was the big selling point. At the time, you had all these mystery cults that were going around, that were touting these kind of magical experiences and magical origins, and the big selling point for like Christianity was that it's just like all the others, but it's Jewish. And so that was the main selling point.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like they had to do that. I was talking to, moving on a little bit, I was talking to Eli the other day about all of this Jesus concept, and we were wondering if the Santa Claus concept is similar to the concept of Jesus, in the sense of like, if you're good, then you're gonna get a reward, heaven or gifts. And if you're a bad boy, then you're gonna get either coal or you're gonna burn in hell for all of eternity. And on top of that, I can see like the comparison in the sense that both have mythical characters that are taught to children from birth, pretty much. And they're portrayed as being kind and loving and giving. And I think the problem with that is that it teaches kids to believe in supernatural creatures, or like having this sort of control of like, hey, you have to behave or else, you know, uh, like, do you think there's, how do you feel about that? Like, is it connected? Is it similar?
I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, anything that's looking to control behavior is probably going to have some kind of root in a root in trying to control something. And so I feel like it probably is. Now, as far as the Santa figure goes, like I think that a lot of it was probably inspired by Odin, because Odin has
I heard that.
Yeah. Odin has a lot of the classical, I guess, hallmarks of Santa, which kind of seems like, that it would be more or less, the Christians imprinted a bunch of pagan Odin beliefs onto this Santa figure that they've created. So, yeah, like the Odin supposedly flew around on a sleigh. He had Sleipnir, who was like an 8-legged horse, I believe, that was to symbolize like all of the reindeer that are pulling the sleigh. I know one of the pagan traditions was to leave out a boot with different like horse food, like carrots and other things in their boot for Sleipnir. And the whole gift giving thing with Odin being an all father, he was responsible for like gift giving and stuff like that. So I think that a lot of that probably stems from Odin. But what I think probably happened was that they just syncretized this Odin belief system with Christianity because they saw a need for that, as far as like, their celebrations go. Whatever reason that they needed for that, I think that they just syncretized it with the Odin belief.
Yeah. Okay. I did remember it was Ember that was talking about this, I believe, earlier today on the show, where I heard about Odin, and she says yes, absolutely Odin. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I had heard about it.
If you look up depictions of Odin, especially in more Christmas time settings, I mean, he's basically like a badass Santa. I mean, have you ever seen the movie Violent Night?
I have not personally.
That is a badass movie. It's got David Harbour as Santa, and he plays like the Santa in that, which I want to watch that later, honey. It's a
okay.
Christmas movie.
Let's go. Okay, I found a picture. Let's show people. Okay. The
Yeah.
original. There you go. Father Christmas. Okay,
Yeah. So
he
like
does look Santa-y.
right. Yeah. So there's the flying through the sky that I mentioned. There's also all-knowing surveillance. So, Odin sent out his ravens, Hugin and Munin, to gather information about people's behavior. Marrying Santa, he knows you. He knows when you've been bad or good. There's the gift giving that I mentioned. The father Yule or Yulnir, Odin distributed gifts during the midwinter, and then the children's offerings. Norse children would leave boots filled with carrots and straw made by straw by chimneys for Sleipnir. Odin would reward them with small presents, and this seems to be an origin for Christmas stockings.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I had not heard about that. That's really cool. Okay, I think it will be pretty safe to say that we stole Christmas today. What do you think?
Yeah, you think does that make me the Grinch? Am I the Grinch now for
Yes,
stealing Christmas?
you are the Grinch. That's why I'm banning
Hey,
you. You're definitely the Grinchy.
yeah,
Um,
if you go and you look at my Facebook page, they think that I'm the Grinch already, so I guess that's fine.
it tracks, right? Yeah, like you already hold the title, so might as well spread the word. So we're gonna have a segment of the show. I haven't done it before, but I made the little graphic, and I was like, okay, we gotta get it started. Confession time. Confession time. In the chat, everybody make their confessions. This is secular confession moment right now. John, do you have any confessions to make tonight? Casey too. Casey can make her confessions
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah,
We're ending the
I have
year.
I have a confession randomly. Well, periodically throughout the day, even when I'm at work, I make social media posts. I'm so sorry about
Oh,
that, but
yeah.
yeah, I get like 5 minutes, every hour or so, or whatever, and I take that time to make a post.
That is a sin. That sounds like something that could fall under some type of sin, I think. Casey, did she have any? Let me check in the chats. Let's see. Ember
No, I don't think
says she has mighty lust for those festive hats. Oh, thank you. Good go, Ember. Just for Ember. Eli says he uses the word God in like 80% of his profanity. Blasphemy. Good. Keep up. Keep it up. I do too. I feel like I'm like, oh God, fuck. Or fucking hell. Yeah, I do feel that. All right. My confession is going to be that this photo right here, I took it. Okay, I didn't take it. My husband took it in a Catholic church while people were going into mass. And we were standing there at the entrance trying to take the photo. And every time somebody would walk in, we would go on like turn around, kind of like we were looking at things. And it took up like about 15 minutes to finally get the shot. So that's my
did,
confession.
did you have to turn around and act like you were impressed by like all the colorful window
Yeah,
art?
exactly. I just like, oh, and then my husband was like acting like he was taking photos of just, the colorful stuff. And we were like, oh, cool. I will just like wrap up because I had this really big purple cape thing. So I would, but I was wearing like a sexy outfit underneath. So I would just like wrap it up all around me and look around like nothing was happening. Do this. Okay. Next question. New Year's is coming. Have you been known to make New Year's resolutions that you don't keep?
Oh man, I'm known to break New Year's resolutions. I don't even remember what my New Year's resolutions were this year. Oh, I didn't make any? Okay. I don't remember
Good.
making any, so that tracks.
Oh, good.
Normally Yeah, normally my New Year's resolutions are like to, I don't know, spend spend more time not doing something, maybe, or doing better at something. I have a problem with, I don't know if it's my ADHD or whatnot, but like I constantly have to be doing something. If I'm not doing something, then I feel like I'm being lazy. And so like
Yeah.
relaxing, like really relaxing is kind of something that I'm not good at.
I'm not good at all at it. I will lay down and I will still be like, no, I can't just be laying here. So sometimes I will just, even if I'm laying down because I'm like, I don't know, in pain or whatever, I'll be on my phone trying to do things to feel, productive that I'm doing something. Let me quickly go through some of the confessions that people are making in the chat, and then we'll go back to it. She Wonders says, I confess, as an atheist, I still like some songs and hymns and religious Christmas songs. Okay, okay, that's cool.
So
Um,
I typically make up my own version of it, but I still have the tune in my head. So like one of them that I regularly have is what is it? My God is an awesome God. He reigns
oh,
shit from above. And so I change it, you know.
I love that. That's perfect. Felicia says, secular confessions, nothing that won't get me stabbed by Casey. Jer says, I use my singing as a weapon to manipulate my cat. He doesn't like my singing. Okay, okay. And Ember loves carols. It's a weakness of the spirit. Hellbound Hillbilly. God is in a lot of my swear words, but my most common is probably Jesus tits. I like that. um, Kelly, the Detroit atheist queen, says, one Christmas, my daughter made some cookies, and I ate all of them, but they weren't regular cookies. Oh, my family blamed my cousin who always called Ike. You ate all the weed cookies. That's that's good. All right. Okay, so I was talking to Skeptical Scott recently, right? He was on my show, and we were talking about something that he calls the one word challenge. And he says it's basically he got tired of not keeping his New Year's resolutions. And so instead of making a new one that would be like, oh, I will be, I don't know, going to the gym every day or something, or eating better, or the typical. He was like, I will choose one word and use it as a reminder throughout the whole year of what I want to get out of this year. Something like, self care or strength or growth or something like that, right? Like something that you want to accomplish. And on that stream, I picked the word wanderlust because I want to travel more. I miss traveling, something that we used to do before COVID. And we haven't because of finances and stuff, but I think we're even things like, I don't know, going hiking or going around town or take an hour drive away from the house or something. I would like to do that. And my parents did invite me to come to Switzerland to visit next year, and they're gonna pay for it. So I was like, okay, thank you, I'll go. So one word, what would you pick? Casey, you do.
uh let's see, one word.
It's a hard one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right on the spot and everything like that. Like, I feel like for this next year, though, I think my one word would have to be like community, because
Okay.
we're doing the conference, and we're just constantly we're trying to help build up this community, help promote people in this community, make people feel like they matter and that their voices matter. And over on my channel, I've got my slogan, I guess, is stand up, use your voice. And I always try to really emphasize how everybody's voice is important in the community. So I mean, if I had to choose one word, it would have to be community.
I love that. I feel like that I'm deaf, right? And so I use a cochlear implant for hearing. And before I had my implant, which was put in on 2017 or so, I never felt like I could speak up because I had such a hard time engaging with people, especially in groups. One on one was a little bit easier, but it could still be hard. Like if I was in a restaurant with someone across the table from me, I still had a really hard time because there were so many voices coming in from everywhere. And so um, when I came into this community in the beginning, I was so scared to even call the call in shows before I had my channel, right? And my very first interaction was on Discord on one of the after shows with some of the people that were hanging out there and some of the hosts. And I was, able to ask questions and stuff. I think Secular Rarity was the very first one that I spoke to directly. And he was so welcoming and so open and stuff. And I was like, okay, this isn't that hard. It's not that bad. And the more I engaged with people there, I was like, all right. And they kept encouraging me to be like, you should do something, you should do your own content if you want to. And so the community has helped me so much to find my voice because I would never speak up before. And
Mhm.
so it's been amazing. It's a little sad because it's one of the things that seems to have upset some of my family members that don't quite enjoy my voice now that I found. But that's another story, But I'm really proud of that. I'm really really happy to have this community behind me that don't push me away for mispronouncing words or having to ask them to repeat themselves and stuff like that, and that actually want to hear from me. Like it's really really special. So I think that what you're doing, building community, having people be able to use their voice, people that feel like they having been able to do that before is a really positive thing for everybody, and it uplifts each individual as well as the community as a whole. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, when I was first starting out and everything, like I've built, I guess, my channel and everything from scratch. Like I didn't have any help whatsoever, and so I try to do better by helping creators out by giving them confidence and everything, because I didn't have that when I was going through everything. Like I had to do everything on my own. I was by myself, and I don't want people to have to go through that. And so I'm really hoping that I can accomplish something positive. I feel like I already am. Like, I can't tell you how good it is to hear that so many people say, well, the first time that I found my voice, or I started out in this community, like Godless Engineer was there to help me start out and everything. I've heard that story so many times, and it every single time I hear it, like I remind myself of the good that I'm doing in the community, and I try to replicate that, every single day.
Yeah, and despite what the haters might say, you're not a dickhead. Like you and I have had our disagreements publicly before, right? And like we went privately and we solved the shit and we're good, right? And that's what I appreciate about people that have that are skeptics and reasonable and that they're willing to act like adults and handle their shit. So I appreciate you. Thumbs up for that too.
Yeah.
uh
I mean, sometimes people can get lost in the sauce, and I hope that everybody can, let cooler minds prevail. And because I think that ultimately everybody just wants to build a good community, and I'm here for that.
yeah. Okay, so I think we can start wrapping this up. But before we do that, I want to show something super funny because I was on a show recently hanging out with Forrest, and I made a little clip that I'm super proud of. Okay, it's super blurry, but just mostly listen to it because it's hilarious. It's like a minute long only. Uh,
It's just like I don't mind the joke. What I mind is that news organizations have had to step in and actually fact check it and publish things saying no. Zoran Mamdani is not trying to force your children to learn Arabic. Here's what Arabic numerals are. And it's like, God damn it. God damn, I hate you all. I hate every single one of you. That this is the world we have to live in. They actually have to waste ink making this news story a thing.
I heard that they're gonna start giving children the hydrogen monoxide.
No, not the
Alcohol.
children.
What?
Yeah, no,
They're
that's
trying
the
to
stuff to
kill
put in
them.
jet fuel.
But yeah.
Here they've got dihydrogen monoxide is in almost every waterway in the country at this point. They're putting it everywhere.
I know. I heard from a reputable source that every serial killer known to man, known to be a big fan of that stuff.
Yep.
Every day they drink it.
Jokes aside, you ever think about what a dirty slut for water you are? Because I think about that sometimes. It's crazy. Guzzling it down.
A dirty slut
Okay.
for water.
That was
I
like
feel-
the best compliment I've ever had. I swear. I was like dirty slut for water. Okay, to be fair, I clipped it in a way that it sounded like he was talking to me, but he was referring to humans overall. Like all
Yeah.
humans are thirsty for water. But the way I clipped it sounded like he was calling me a dirty slut for water, and I was like, thank you. can't can't deny that. Dude,
Oh, you're gonna put apparently that is now going on Forest Conference badge. Dirty slut for water
oh heck
is what
yeah!
it's gonna be.
If you can reach Forrest and show him that video, I will be very grateful. I'll send it to you privately so you can show it to him. Because I don't have his email, so.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah,
anyway.
no, I can make sure that he gets it.
Thank you. Because I clipped it masterfully, I think I will say. All right. Another thing we have is I started a website with my husband called Ingenious Matter, and we have merchandise, and all of those shirts, those designs on the screen are put on shirts and stuff. We have Portland frogs and sciencey things. Think, reason, create, science. That's one of my favorite. So there's that. Oops. Okay, I am pushing buttons everywhere. Okay, got it. Oh, and Ember says, if you are thirsty for water, no, if you are thirsty, your water doesn't have to be. If anybody's interested, go to Rather Than Ember's channel, and she has some water filters things that she sells or uses, or like you can buy them and she gets the benefits. Support Ember. Good. All right. Anything you want to tell people before we turn this down?
Just check out rocketcityreason.com if you haven't yet. I hope that people that are at least nearby or can get here will come. I would love to hear from and as well see people at Rocket City Reason. I know that we've got some interest from some of the bigger orgs that are going to be helping us out with the conference. So things are going to be ramping up in the new year. So I'm really hoping that we can make this like a yearly thing that we do every single year. We're already trying to think of different things that we can do for the next conference, and we're just really hoping that we can get this off of the ground. So rocketcityreason.com, and you can be able to get your tickets there. Other than that, another way that you can help us out here at Godless Engineer is just by subscribing to the page, to the channel here on YouTube, as well as the liking the page over there on Facebook. Both of those things help us out here. So yeah, I've got content coming all the time. And even more in the pipes now that I'm doing like TikTok like conversations. I really enjoy those. So that content's not going to stop anytime soon either.
Perfect. Okay, so go subscribe to Godless Engineer everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of the socials. My message will be for people to continue being skeptical, to continue thinking, to continue having the hard conversations respectfully. Try not to blow up at people when you're having these conversations. Discussions are very, very important, especially when they're about serious matters. Also take care of yourself during the holidays. I know that sometimes the holidays can be a hard time for people who have issues with their families or who don't have a lot of support, and seeing everybody have a happy holiday can be a little bit hard for them. So check on your friends. Check on your friends. Let them know you love them and you support them and you're there. And I have heard that there is a 24-hour or plus 48-hour maybe stream on Purple Rhymes with Oranges channel, and they are having tons of content creators fill a couple hour slots and streaming, so that people can who don't have community in person can come online and have somebody to hang out with for Christmas Day. I believe it goes from like the day before Christmas up to like after midnight on Christmas days. So yeah, go check that out. And thank you, Godless Engineer, for all of the information today. It was very educational, very much fun. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat. And oh, wait. So Ember says the mega stream is across many channels, but Purple organizes it. Gotcha. Okay, so each person picks a slot and they stream on their own channel during that time. Got it. All right. Awesome. That would be all. Keep finding better ways to human and subscribe to all the things. See you next time.